Hello, and welcome to the Tavern Chat podcast. I am your host, your bartender in the OSR, or Tenkar, your main proprietor, Tenkar's Tavern blog, Discord server, Mimi group, Facebook group, Twittering, and Instagram. 1 second as I turn off the AC. There's your beep. So, what do we have today? Well, we got a little news. And for that, I'll step away for a moment, play our short voicemail, and then discuss the news, and then I got some more stuff to discuss. Stepping away.
Hi, Eric. I don't know if you've seen this yet. You probably have, but in case you didn't, James is posting to Grognardia again. I personally am very excited about this. I've always enjoyed reading his blog. So there you go. Thanks.
So yes, Grognardia is back. James Mal has been posting, I don't know, a week and a half or so. It's been mentioned to me by more than one person at, let's be honest, my entry into the OSR and finding OSR blogs. It was Grognardia, Bat in the Attic, Joe the Lawyer's Wondrous Imaginings, and one or two others. These were my go-to. And James, the one that showed me you could post on a daily basis. So it's good to have James back. James has been gone for a couple of years. So yes, Grognardia.blogspot.com. Just do a Google search for Grognardia. You'll find it. It's hard to miss. I'm glad that when James took a break from blogging, he didn't do what some others have done, which is take their bowl and go home. They close down their blog and they also remove it, so you can't find it. Because James has some wonderful posts. If you are like an amateur gaming historian, there's some wonderful stuff in there that it would be a shame to lose. So I'm glad that even when James stepped away, he left it up for the rest of us to be able to read. So what am I going to also talk about today? What else is in the news? Well, they have this, like, I read this on N-World, so I'm not going to say that I did a huge amount of searching for it, but this combat wheelchair, which now they're going to be minis for, and apparently if you're against, or if you don't see the feasibility of the combat wheelchair, you're against handicapped people in gaming. I don't know. Here, let me give you my perspective on it. I am a type 2 diabetic who suffered from congestive heart failure, retained about 60 pounds of water back in May, because I pissed out 60 pounds of water back in May. And the last thing that I want to do when I'm role-playing, when I'm playing a character, whether it's in a fantasy role-playing game, or modern-day spy, or futuristic sci-fi, is to role-play somebody with congestive heart failure and type 2 diabetes. Why would I want that? I don't think my wife Rach, who is legally blind, wants to role-play a character that is legally blind.
Been there, done that.
There's Rach. Been there, done that. I am living with congestive heart failure. If I'm going to do escapism, why would I escape into my own disabilities? Right? Why would I? I would like to fantasize about being, and I'm not going to be fantasizing about being 53 years old and still carrying around an extra 30 pounds I could probably get rid of. I'd want to be, 26, 27, 1800 strength, right? Dexterous, high charisma, high intelligence. You want to role play somebody that just is better than you are, healthier than you are, and can do these wonderful, super heroic stuff. We playing supers, but even in your fantasy role playing. Now you got games like GURPS where yes, if I take a handicap, I get more build points. So you're balancing off that being nearsighted because you get extra points to your build, and that, or you're lame in one arm. But once you start taking away your character's mobility. I mean, I'm just trying to picture. And listen, the combat wheelchair, the minis that they're proposing for it, they look spot on. I mean, they look really cool. But if you're in a dungeon and you got to go downstairs, you got to carry the combat wheelchair down? Or what if you got to go down a ladder? Right? There's no handicapped ramps in a dungeon. And again, I don't foresee very many people with physical handicaps looking to roleplay characters with physical handicaps. Now, I might be wrong. Maybe there's people out there that want to play somebody with type 2 diabetes and congestive heart failure and the limitations that come with such. You know, but I just don't see it. Now, again, I don't see this issue necessarily being pushed by gamers that have these physical limitations. And also, if you're playing in a game with magic, right? Wouldn't there be an easier way to take care of such disabilities if the characters had it? And couldn't you cure them? Right? I mean, what character is going to start adventuring in a wheelchair? Where's the feasibility in that, right? Because there's certain occupations that you can't do with certain handicaps. You know, I'm also nearsighted. But my vision is correctable with glasses. If I couldn't wear glasses, I couldn't have been a cop. I couldn't have seen well enough to shoot accurately. If I was colorblind, couldn't have been a cop. I don't think I want to necessarily play somebody that's role-playing somebody that's colorblind unless I'm getting a benefit for it. And that's what GURPS allows you to get. And that is kind of, I guess, gaming the system itself of disabilities and abilities becomes a subsystem of gaming. I don't know. Like I said, for me, role-playing is escapism. And if it becomes too much like reality, then why are we playing it? I don't want to play, doctors and dickwads or something like that. I don't want to play lawyers and losers. I want to play Dungeons and Dragons. I want to play my Swords and Wizardry. I want to play Traveler or White Star. Again, you want to be larger than life. And obviously, in my case, I don't want to be limited by my restrictions in life. Your mileage might vary. I don't know. Rach, let me ask you a question.
What's that?
Like I just said, would you look to roleplay a character in Swords and Wizardry at the next convention that is legally blind?
Depends.
Okay. Tell them what?
Do I have some other type of
benefits for
underneath something that's
like is your hearing exceptional?
Yeah, or
like
some sort of
which,
kinesthetic sense is better.
Right. Okay. No, that's valid. See, this whole combat wheelchair, the limitations. I mean, it looks cool, but how do you move through a dungeon in a combat wheelchair? How do you traverse stairs? How do you do ladders? And, I understand it. We are talking a fantasy role-playing game. We're talking a game, but realistically, would you have somebody that's in a wheelchair adventuring? Vision deficit. Again, you could be extremely nearsighted, but maybe your hearing compensates for it. I don't see how the wheelchair really gets around a lot of these issues. But again, like you said, if there are benefits that outweigh the negative, and GURPS, like I said, is a role playing system that it is designed that if you take disadvantages, psychological or physical, you get bonus points to designing a character. That makes sense. I don't know.
Well, then also, like, this whole, like, I'm not sure, because I'm just kind of coming to this party late.
Right.
This wheelchair, it's like a combat wheelchair, so it's sort of like some kind of tank, but, like, that's something that's, like, outside yourself.
Right.
And that's a scary thing if, God forbid, it gets damaged or destroyed,
Right.
or
Yeah.
somebody takes it from you.
Then you're.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, and therein.
And it's an interesting idea. It's an interesting
mental
thing
exercise.
to get, or a purchase, or I don't know.
I mean, listen, I could
What do you
see.
think?
I could see designing a one-off adventure around the concept.
Yeah.
That could be interesting, but as part of a campaign, I don't think that really.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the party's got to travel by horseback.
Oh, right, like or mules or whatever.
Right.
To traverse.
Yeah,
like,
you know, you're not going to go through the wild too well in a
or
wheelchair. You know, it's bad enough. And again, I live in New York City, and I've you see people like that's why you keep the handicapped ramps clear.
Yes.
There are no handicapped ramps in the dungeon. There's no smooth asphalt or cement pathways through the wilderness.
I mean, unless this thing has, like, you know, you use it for a certain type of warfare, you know,
Right.
and it's got, like, treads on it, and it's tough, you know what I mean?
I think you can design an adventure around it,
Okay.
but I think and it might work fine as a convention
Okay.
shtick, but to in a game at a convention or something like that, but to have it as a long-term play option, I don't see it. And again, if my character became crippled in game, I would seek out magical healing. That would be my quest, right? That would be my. I wouldn't. My option, like, there's magical healing in a game. Why would I want to stay in a wheelchair? I don't see it. Magical healing in a game. I don't want to be. I don't want to suffer from congestive heart failure and type 2 diabetes. Please, let's quest to cure me of that.
You know, I see they're trying to, you know, go for inclusivity and have people seen in different.
Well, that's why I'm
with
asking.
different situations.
Oh, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, there might be a badass warrior that, you know, is legally blind and can somehow can aesthetically know exactly where that person is and stab them straight away, whatever. But yeah.
But then the handicap isn't really a handicap, right? The disadvantage isn't a disadvantage if you can work around it. So then it's just cosmetic. So then.
I mean, you miss certain type of experience.
Okay.
But yeah.
And again, I got to say this. I think there is a difference in expectations when it comes from a one-off and campaign play. Like I said, you can design an adventure to take into account the idea that somebody is going to be...
Do most people tend to try and recreate themselves as characters?
My experience is people draw upon themselves, but it's the idealized self. You know...
Not the physical self.
You know, listen, if I was... When I was a kid and we were going to this one game, we were going to role play ourselves, do you think I put myself down for a 9 strength? No, come on, I was at least a 13 or a 14. Constitution was at least a 16. I got fucking congestive heart failure. How does that work? Charisma, I was, of course, charisma. And intelligence. Who has less than a 16 in intelligence? Because we're all intelligent people. We play fucking D&D, right?
Yeah, in that corner of the world.
So, but my feeling is, my perspective is that I would not, unless there's a specific adventure being designed that, hey, if you complete this adventure, you'll cure yourself of congestive heart failure. Yeah, I'm all for it. Yeah, I'll be like, all right, yoo-hoo! But it's a means to an end. It's not, I want to role play somebody with congestive heart failure. I want to role play somebody who maybe will find a way to get healed of it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I wouldn't be looking to role play a character that had limited mobility, unless we're talking about that's the hook to get you to you're looking to overcome it and get cured, not spend a lifetime compensating for your congestive heart failure in a game. I'm spending that lifetime in reality.
Yes.
I don't need to repeat it.
Yes.
In a game. That's my point. I don't
Okay.
I don't see it. Again, your mileage may vary, and maybe for people who are fully abled, the idea of having an opportunity to role play somebody with physical limitations, but again, you're not, because the combat wheelchair is compensating for everything but the things that are going to really hold back the whole party, which is mobility. And in a world that's magical, wouldn't they have like magical wheelchairs that like levitate? I mean, it wouldn't be a problem.
I think that's cool.
There we go.
Oh, I guess it's still like the magic carpet then.
Yeah, or even in like science fiction, I guess you'd have like, I still remember the initial Star Trek episode, the one with Captain Pike in that wheelchair device that covered him up to his neck, but kind of looked like it was floating on the ground, although obviously it wasn't. Futuristic. You're not gonna, that way you're not restricted by changes in height and all that stuff. It's floating. It's anti-gravity or whatever. I've spoken too long on this already. Folks, as always, we're in a world of COVID, so take precautions. Common sense. And seek medical advice. Because I'm not a medical professional. And be safe, be well, God bless, roll those dice. I will talk with you all, God willing, tomorrow. Laters.